Well, Wall Street loves it when the Fed decides not to raise rates like today. So why is the market down today? Maybe they're worried that Donald Trump might decide to tighten things up at the Fed if he's elected. Joining me now is Kevin Kelly of Recon Capital Partners and Veronica Dagher of the Wall Street Journal. So, Veronica, Trump's not a fan of Janet Yellen. We know that for in fact, he's said so on the campaign trail. Let's take a clip.
When they raise interest rates, you're going to see some very bad things happen because the Fed is not doing their job. The Fed is being more political than Secretary Clinton.
All right. The Fed's not doing its job. He wants a tighter monetary policy. How is Wall Street going to react if he's elected and does that?
Well, you know, not until last Friday did Wall Street even consider the possibility of him winning. However, since then, since the email scandal, the latest email scandal came out, we've been seeing the market actually price in the possibility or start to price in the possibility of a Trump victory. We've been seeing more volatility. We'll continue to see more volatility. The VIX is up about 16% just for this week alone. We're going to see more of that, especially going into next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, once we have the results. So I think there's going to be a lot of jitteriness, a lot more uncertainty, and we could see a big drop initially if he does win. Okay,
well, Kevin, gold jumped today, also as a result of thinking about the uncertainty of a Trump victory. But many people say, look, if Trump does become president and he does tighten up monetary policy, the dollar will go up and gold will come down. Is this a fool's bet to bet on gold going higher?
Yeah, it's hard to bet on gold because it hasn't performed over the last few years for what it's supposed to do, and that's supposed to be an inflation hedge. We haven't had really much inflation, but I think the market is actually really worried about the economic numbers. Even though GDP came out at a great headline number, it was because soybean extracts came in at 10%. The consumer numbers in that GDP report were actually abysmal. They were down pretty significantly. So I think the market actually is worried not about monetary policy, but about fiscal policy, and no matter who gets elected within the first 100 days, the market is going to judge whether that fiscal policy can lead to growth for our economy.
All right, Anthem, one of the largest public health insurance companies in the U.S., may pull out of Obamacare if the market does not improve in 2017. This would make them the 4th out of 5 major health insurance providers to do so. Veronica, I'll start with you. I mean, the CEO said, if we don't see clear evidence of an improving market and a path towards sustainability, we will likely modify our strategy in 2018. There is no path towards sustainability for the insurance company. They're already saying, I mean, they would have to raise premiums through the roof, and even then, enough people aren't signing up. This is a disaster.
You have to wonder what the end game is, especially since younger people who are having to pay higher premiums aren't signing up. They don't see a reason to if they're seeing the premiums go up 25% or more. So what's going to motivate them if their premiums continue to go up this year and again next year? There's no real metric that's going to say why these premiums are going to go down. And so it's a real problem for the overall feasibility of the system.
Yeah, Kevin, I mean, one of the original architects, Gruber, who said that, they were counting on the stupidity of Americans in order to pass this whole thing, is now saying that the only way to force people in is to raise the penalty, the tax penalty, so high that you're forced to pay either the government or you're forced to pay for the health insurance that you don't need, that, isn't really worth very much. Where are we headed here?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, you're seeing the willful ignorance, of the constructors of this policy, because the aging population is having a higher incidence of chronic diseases and illnesses, and there's no penalties you can enforce. You know, the best way to get people to sign up is incentivize them, not penalize them. And so the problem is look at a microcosm. Arizona, they have an elderly population, and you basically can't get Obamacare because no one wants to sign up for it because you got to pay 3 times the amount.